DKB here was the good word, y'all. So, Zach Wilson and the plethora of weapons that we finally have supporting him, if we're going to consider them the engine of this New York Jets offense, then the key to the entire thing is John Benton. John Benton, for those that don't know, is our offensive line coach slash run game coordinator. And basically, our entire season depends on him because we are going to live or die by the run. Now, a little bit of backstory or history for him. Obviously, he came over with Saleh and LaFleur from the 49ers, and he has some huge accolades in those 4 seasons. By the time that was done, he had the fourth most rushing yards in the NFL. He led 3 top 10 rushing attacks his final 3 seasons. And then, of course, he had during the 2019 season, the NFL's top rushing attack in 2019. But aside from that, basically understanding the offense, you'll know how much he means to this entire organization because this wide zone running scheme that we have, it's not like other offenses where you can kind of get by purely based off talent and things like this. It's a very detail heavy oriented kind of scheme that definitely requires fine tuning in a lot of ways. It changes essentially based on the defenses and things that we're playing as well as any good offense and or defense should. But his resume, 33 years of experience, he's essentially been homegrown in learning what this rushing attack really means and how it's changed over time. He's had some amazing mentors from legends to innovators of this NFL offense that have been able to take it to the next level. And just the names off the top, Alex Gibbs, Mike Shanahan, who brought it down to his son, Kyle Shanahan, and then working with Gary Kubiak for quite a while. And then ultimately landing with the 49ers and now with the New York Jets, where we're hoping we get the same kind of results and efficiency. So there's a few interesting things that I learned about essentially our wide zone running scheme. And some of it's basic, some of it's a little bit more in depth, so I'll keep it high level. But we attack defenses laterally. Yeah, there we go. We attack defenses laterally. So basically, this is a very boom or bust style offense from what I was able to read up on. A defense can feast on us because we're not necessarily going from point A to point B, or we can have extremely effective games where we're talking about easily 200 to 250 plus yard rushing performances. And I think we've seen flashes of that last offseason. But again, the scheme requires so much attention to detail, along with having the right personnel on the offensive line for everything to mesh. So you can easily expect that it would take 2-3 years for things to gel. He was able to make it happen pretty quick with the 49ers, and hopefully we get that, again, same level of success here. But we're attacking defenses laterally. And then one of the more interesting aspects of this is that we're not blocking defenders. You're not necessarily seeing one-on-one matchups and things on film. If things operate the way they're intended, we're looking to actually get to our pathways and where we want to open up these lanes before defenders can get to it. And we've seen, again, some flash of that on film. Most of our effective running days were direct results of the offense kind of gelling and doing what it needed to do. And then most of the time, as we've seen, Michael Carter create a lot of that offense by himself. So a second year with better personnel and just deeper understanding by most of the offensive line, as well as tweaks that him and LaFleur want to do to the offense, should lend itself to a much better result for us this season. But we called out some standouts before. 32nd in rushing attempts last season. And the sweet spot for us is going to be somewhere between that 10th ranked rushing attempts in the league to the league average 16th spot. Not only is that a significant jump for us, but we've seen that his offenses in the past essentially have averaged 4.4 carries basically per player, which is pretty good. So this will allow us to probably, eclipse the 2,000 yard mark in rushing attempts for us if we can get things going, adequately. Even league average will do a lot for us. So Again, John Benton's going to be very pivotal for us this offseason. There are a few issues that we need to be aware of. One, and there's a few levels to this tackle situation. For one, he basically has both his starters returning from an injury. John Benton with the dislocated kneecap, and then George Fant dealing with his own leg issues. So they should both be green lighted by training camp. But to add to it, we also have George Fant with his contract situation, which hopefully doesn't boil over and become something different over the course of training camp, because we've already seen George Fant kind of getting his feathers rustled a little bit by other contracts that were getting confirmed during the offseason. So hopefully that pans out for us. We'll see where the chips fall by the time the regular season is supposed to start. And then the second thing is John Benton's own personal issue. I talked about it before. He had the offseason DUI situation. He wasn't able to update us during his press conference. Basically, it's still a pending legal matter, so there's not really much he can say. Everything that we're waiting for is basically to see if the NFL hands out a punishment, which I would expect they would do so, and what that looks like. And I don't remember 100%. I want to say the first offense is either a 3 or 4 game ban, or it's a 6 game ban, something to that effect. So that could definitely be detrimental to us. I'm sure LaFleur would be able to kind of adjust, as we've done with plenty of things in the past. But you don't just easily replace the 33 years of experience and attention to detail that Benton's going to provide to this offensive line on how we can best try to manipulate the defense for what we want to do. So in any event, I'm very curious, what do you guys think about this rushing attack? If you are familiar with the wide zone running scheme, as well as our coach John Benton, and kind of, do we have the pieces not only on the offensive line but also in the running back room to really make this thing happen for us? So I'll catch you guys again. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Peace out.